60 seconds to comply.
I think you'd better do what he says, Mr. Kenny.
You have 60 seconds to comply. This is minute 26. Part man,
part machine, or
pod.
pod. This minute begins with static and ends with Don Johnson saying he's legally dead. We can do pretty much, and then it cuts off there. And we're joined once again by...
Not that Don Johnson.
Not that John... I know, I have to keep saying that. And we're joined once more by Rick Ingram of the Mad Max Minute and currently the Waterworld Minute podcast.
It doesn't matter. We're going to blank their memories anyway.
Yeah, this is our technically first reveal of RoboCop, but we're getting a good POV look of the... And I've got the note here, the iconic gridline POV shot.
Mm-hmm. It's the whole minute is iconic. I just love how this is done, and like, is Murphy just like a head in a jar at this point? How does this work?
Yeah, I love the mystery of it. It's like we went into a fade to black, and now we're just waking up with this weird computer monitor effect, and technicians are poking at us, like, and it's us. Yeah. Like I said in the last episode, like we're going along this journey with Murphy, and it's just plain stinking cool.
It's so claustrophobic. You're really going through the entire process and feeling like you can't move, and there's these people crowding around you. And given the angle of it, it's below everyone, but it doesn't seem like someone's lying down. It seems like they're crowded around something quite small, whatever it is.
So I'll preempt with a bit of commentary, because Paul Verhoeven does talk about this, and he says that they actually set up the camera in a chair to get these angles. I don't know why they just didn't use a tripod, but it might be just one of those things where it's like, we're so low budget and we don't have a tripod that works, so we just strap it to a chair. But yeah, it's a very interesting, because you got like the domination thing, like, you know, it's almost like you're a child compared to these adults. And
or a guinea pig.
Nursing you back down. Yes.
You feel that they are poking and prodding at you because they're not 100% sure of exactly what they're doing. Like, the first shot we get is technician number 2, who is played by... No, it's technician number 1, played by Karen Radcliffe. She comes along, and she starts poking at us and turning the screen, and then technician number 2, played by Daryl Cox, he has to come over and start fiddling with it because, it's starting to roll, and he's really frustrated with it. Like, they're just...
shit!
You know, they're throwing stuff against the wall, and they're going to see what sticks.
Yeah, you have no idea what they're actually responding to, because they can drill some bits down or something, and you can twist this bit, and you can
can we talk
that.
about how when Dr. Tyler says bring in the LED and they do the array, as it's being secured in place, he's using a drill bit, but not a Phillips or flathead screwdriver bit. It's a drill bit meant to punch holes in things. Like, how is that securing? It's not really important. It's just weird.
I've watched this movie countless times. This is the first time I noticed it was a drill bit. I'm a prop builder, and I was like, holy shit, that's a drill bit. What the fuck?
And then there's the ring light that goes over the top, and what is even happening?
Yeah, there's a couple of things where they brought in the crash team for the hospital scene to make it more authentic, and then when they got to the technician scene dealing with robotics, they're like, all right, what sounds science-y? LED, that sounds cool. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Technically, but like, it's, like I said before, plain stinking cool.
This is related, I swear, but lately I've been writing a Knight Rider fanfic because it's fun, and it is so much fun writing a story that is basically 80s television or set within that kind of era of fiction. And I'm not trying to be, I know about technology, I know how it all works, but I'm writing from an 80s television perspective where it's just, I don't know, I'm just gonna put some weird techno babble in here, I don't give a shit.
What is the thing where Kit's emotionally is like his AI is some...
His alpha circuit? Always bitching about the alpha circuit. Michael, I can't tow this car because it would bust my alpha circuit. And then he just smashes a whole truck out of the way like it's nothing. I mean, okay, Kit.
You look like crap.
Fuck you, kid!
Yeah, his body is made out of indestructible plasticsteel.
Molecular bonded plasticsteel, yes.
There.
Yeah.
This is like... Okay, yeah. This is like what I love about Star Trek scripts, where it's just like, such and such, Picard says this, and then Geordi says, technobabble.
Well, shit. That's exactly what I was hoping to spare you from.
Yeah.
Okay, have you guys ever been to technobabble.biz?
No.
It is a website where you can hit a button and it will automatically generate technobabble for you. So, for example, computer, what's wrong? The MK33 radiation grid is offline. Tell me how to fix it. The multi-isolinear audio destruct with the subsonic tablet and paramagnetic hollow probe. Like, that's all nonsense. It means nothing. And I can just sit here and have the computer bring up all of these different problems. Like, oh no, there are variances in the ionic power transfer conduits. They're failing. Oh no, quick, get the graviton life support with aluminum matter stream. Oh no, it's starting to roll.
I got, computer, what's wrong? Malfunction in the bipolar generator is not responding. Tell me how to fix it. Dimensional polarity amplifier with the terminum transceiver.
Okay. Here's mine. Computer, what's wrong? Bubble is failing. Tell me how to fix it. MK12 cannon banks with multi-adapter warp recorder.
Yeah, sure. Fuck, why not?
Yeah. And the good thing about fiction is that will work.
Yeah.
Unless they need to extend the drama, then it won't work.
Yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of hard science fiction, and actually, sadly, a little bit of that's just crept into Knight Rider because I can't help myself. But, yeah, it is a lot of fun to just throw all of that to the wind. Don't do any research. Just put some technobabble in. I don't mind.
And then you can have a character person say, damn it, man, I'm not a technician. Give it to me straight.
In English, that was English.
I do love when they have like historical supervisors or technicians and scientific
Advisors, yeah.
They have all these advisors in these shows, and they completely ignore them.
Oh yeah, Brian Cox always tells this story about he was brought on as scientific advisor for Sunshine, and he reads the first line of the script and it says, "The sun is dying, it's going cold," or something like that, and he just throws the script across the room and goes, "Well, that's fucked."
Lindy Beige does a great video on this. It's one of his early videos, but it does a video about how movie studios will hire an historian advisor to come onto a movie set, and as soon as they ask him a question, they just completely ignore it. But the historian just like, "Yep, I'm getting paid to sit around and drink coffee."
Yep. Just sit around all day, macking on craft services and schmoozing with grips.
Yeah, I do know friends of friends who have been historical advisors, and it is that thing of they almost don't want their names put in the credits sometimes, because you brought me on to give you an air of legitimacy, but you haven't actually listened to anything I've suggested, so...
And honestly, no matter what they suggest, it's just going to get ignored, and then some guy on the internet, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, is going to be like, "Oh, the sky's wrong."
Yes!
And it's like,
actually.
Thanks, Neil. Didn't ask you, but thanks.
Sometimes, I will say, it is frustrating when the science would have actually allowed for greater story potential, could have brought it into new directions. Ridley Scott is kind of guilty of this with the whole... He loves AI and robots, but he doesn't actually want to talk about AI and robots. And there's so many times when I'm reviewing Prometheus or Alien Covenant, I just go, "But you could have done this, and that's realistic, and it would have been real..." Oh, fuck. Okay, well...
It's more important to have two robots hanging out in a cave playing a flute together.
Kissing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a great scene in that movie. Yeah.
I do love it, and I can't wait to get to it. Yeah, not to bag on Alien, I love it. I love you, Ridley, BB. You're
just let Michael Fassbender do the fingering, and everything will be all right.
Yeah, we should always let Michael Fassbender do all the fingering.
Yeah. Anyway, basically my other note was just, hey, Dr. Tyler's pretty cute, huh? That was basically all.
Absolutely.
She's adorable.
I've had a crush on her since this movie.
Yes, and she's not in it enough.
No.
She's played by Sage Parker. This is one of her few roles. Great name, though, Sage.
Yeah. But she was acting all the way up until like 2010, I think was the last credit to the screen roll on IMDb.
She's probably the one character in this scene who sort of has some kind of empathy for Murphy. Like when... very, very significant moment here. When Bob Moore's like, "You saved the hand. Why would you say? What idiot would save the hand?" And I'm sitting there, having watched the remake, going, "Yeah, what idiot would do that?" Yeah, but she's like, "Jesus, this is going a little too far. Or we're getting rid of parts that we don't need to get rid of now."
Man, it's really fun to hear dialogue from the character design phase for Furiosa creeping into a movie from 1987.
Lose the arm and lose the hair.
Well, the thing is, you just know when it came to the remake, someone saw this scene and went, "Haha, what if we subvert it and we keep the arm? Haha, that makes sense."
Of all the things they could have subverted, and that's the thing they chose.
Honestly, I keep making...
Damn it.
I keep making the joke of, they kept the hand for her pleasure. Honestly, if they'd freaking gone there, if it was the story of Clara and, she's trying to still have an intimate relationship with her husband and that was involved, they kind of hint at it. Yes! Interesting. Good. And also make it R-rated because it's fucking RoboCop. But yeah.
Okay, so speaking of R-rated things, have either of you seen, I want to say it's probably on TikTok, but there are people that have discovered that when you've got those high-intensity massagers that you can grip the massage end of it and your finger will just go crazy. And people are like, "Oh, I'm going to stick my finger in this cup full of eggs and it's going to scramble the eggs." I mean, some people have taken that to the logical conclusion to hilarious results. And that's the first thing I think of when, we've preserved the hand. Does it have a vibrate function?
So I remember, this is going back into the 90s. There was one of these Oprah type shows. I don't think it was Oprah, but it was one of those talk shows, and they were going on about the inventor of this pocket massager, and it was just this little, probably a 10 centimeter long little black cylindrical rounded end that vibrates, and it's it's a personal massager that you can put in your purse and take anywhere with you, and we sold out. And and even as a horny teenager, they're going, it's not, they didn't buy it for the massaging point.
Yeah, do you remember when PlayStation first introduced the vibration function?
Yes!
I was, I think PlayStation 2 had it, or maybe PlayStation 3. But either way, I was too young to understand that vibrations for other things. And then I got to an age where I understood that vibrations were for other things while playing a game. And anyway, Metal Gear Solid makes me feel funny now.
You're really a big fan of that fight with Psycho Mantis, huh?
Woo!
Well, here's the thing. So the N64 had a Rumble Pack feature, which was an additional thing you could plug in and out. You could get an external, I think it could have been PlayStation 2 actually, you could get an external vibration pack, which was supposed to, lean against for the extra rumble features, bullet impacts in a game or something like that. I'm not sure if this was a hoax one or not, but yeah, it was almost immediately pulled off the shelf when people were using it to basically pleasure their girlfriend while they were playing games.
I mean, people are still trying to sell haptic feedback vests and things like that.
Teledildonics is a field of study. It's called teledildonics, and I'm not joking.
Say it again.
Teledildonics.
Teledildonics. That was intentional.
I am in such a giggly mood today. I have been making the stupidest jokes. I am crying.
That's because we're all horny for Tyler. That's
Man,
that's true.
I don't know what it is about her, but she is just entrancing. I don't know. It might be, for me at least, the glasses. I'm a sucker for a woman wearing glasses.
It's that kind of, I think this for me spawned my love of the sexy scientist, sexy librarian aesthetic.
Very much so.
I'm just thinking about it in retrospect, it's like, yeah.
I wish she was in this some more. I think she's only in for I don't know, 2-3 minutes.
She is in later minutes when like she's always part of the RoboCop team in the Metro West Police Department. But I think the last time we see her is when RoboCop wakes up from his dream and leaves the station. After that, we don't see any of the OCP crew except for when Bob Morton croaks and Don Johnson later on in the movie. Alas.
More Lewis and
we want the Lewis Tyler buddy cop film.
Yes, Lewis Tyler, gimme.
Now, what do you two think about Dr. Roosevelt? Because he is introduced in this scene as well.
Yes. He always reminds me of... I think I'm going to pull up the name, but he reminds me of that guy from... he's in The West Wing, and he's also the bad guy from... is it Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore? Billy Madison.
Yeah.
The
Happy Madison.
But he actually ended up playing a role in RoboCop 3, unironically. I can't think of his damn name. I'm just trying to pull it up. No, I don't really have much of an opinion on Roosevelt, to be honest.
He's got big dad energy.
Big dad energy, definitely.
He does. He does, yes.
Like, I'm not sure if I necessarily want to say he's a daddy. I don't feel like
Is daddy still a thing?
I don't know if I'm in a good spot to, like, declare that. But I do appreciate how Tyler refers to him later on in the movie as Rosie, that's his nickname.
Yeah. I feel like we're in the time of big mum energy or mummy because of the bloody
You mean 9
Resident
foot tall?
Evil. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Step on me, mummy.
I'm a sucker for that aesthetic.
I don't
Jeez,
know
I'm thirsty today.
Yeah, this show is just, we're both giggly and horny. It's...
For us, it's because this is probably the first time, I think, ever we've actually recorded in the middle of the day. By the time we normally record at like 7 o'clock at night, we're all like, we're kind of relaxed, we're chilled, and
probably.
We're just full of energy.
I'm a morning person, so yeah.
I mean, I certainly appreciate your sacrifice because, let's see, you are 13 hours ahead of me. So far... As far as your guests are concerned, you've done a really good job of picking people on the exact opposite side of the world.
Roosevelt is the actor Stephen Berrier. I don't actually have... I'm just going to try and pull up his IMDb, because I did look at it earlier, but I forgot I closed it down. Because I was hunting to see if there was any Star Trek connections. Oh yeah, he's only done like 4 roles, and most of it's TV work.
I didn't see any Star Trek connections in these minutes.
No, but I did manage to crowbar it in early with Technobabble.
True. Yeah.
So Roosevelt was only in like... his only movie credit was RoboCop. He was in a TV series, Jake and the Fat Man. Jeez, that's a blast from the past. And he did a voice apparently in 2020, and he has another TV series that's completed, but it doesn't say anything. So yeah, I'm surprised, because he feels like one of those guys who you'd probably see in the background of like a dozen movies. He just kind of like, he just has that kind of quality. He's not a bad actor or anything, so who knows what happened. Maybe Roosevelt wasn't the breakout role he was expecting.
I mean, if it hasn't paid off by now, I'm not quite sure what to tell him.
One of these days.
Well, when they finally do the RoboCop sequel, that was it Neil Blomkamp was attached to at some point?
Yeah,
maybe.
I remember that. It was going to be a new take on RoboCop 2, as in the original RoboCop 2 doesn't exist. We're just going to do our we're going to do our own RoboCop 2, and we're going to have blackjack and hookers.
I love that concept. Also, was that woman from Airwolf in RoboCop 2? I'm just remembering that. Huh.
I haven't seen Airwolf since it first.
It has not held up. It's just, oh my god, rape culture normalized. Wow.
Okay, no idea.
Big yikes. I mean, they kind of toned that down in the later episodes, but no, Stringer in the first episode's like, oh, I know what you're here for. No, I'm not. No, you're definitely here for that. No, I'm really not. I'm gonna go now. No, you're here for that. No. And then I had to watch the whole... Because I'm going to be on the Airwolfiers podcast, and just getting through that pilot was traumatic.
I'm looking at the RoboCop Wikipedia, because, of course.
Shout out to the RoboCop Wikipedia guys doing our work for us.
Yeah, it's always good to reference it. The one thing I was going to bring up is there's a really great use of black in this particular, and from leading on from the previous minute and this minute, the use of black as the figurative death of the character, especially as an audience perspective. So in the audio commentary, apparently there was a lot of arguments between the filmmakers and the studio about the length of time that the black was going to be on screen. Ed Neumeier points out he wanted it to be roughly about 15 seconds, which when it doesn't sound like much, but when you think about it, you're sitting there at the cinema and all of a sudden it's just pitch black, no music for 15 seconds. That's going to feel like an eternity. And the gag was they wanted to be was that they wanted the audience to wonder if the movie was actually over or not.
Oh yeah, 15 seconds is the perfect amount of time for people to look around and be like, is the projector broken? Should someone go get an attendant?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the studio basically went, no, you can't do that. And I think even the editor's like, no, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, why would you do that?
So they basically compromised and got to the length which I think is actually a good enough time.
I remember there was a bit of controversy about that scene in The Last Jedi where it goes completely silent after that Star Destroyer is taken apart.
I love that moment.
So good, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's an urban myth or not, because all these news reports seem to be kind of conflicting about the exact details, but it seems like some people were a little confused as to, where's the sound? I was expecting an explosion. What is going on?
I would say, when you have a ton of explosions in all of your movies leading up to that point, and then you get this spectacular thing where suddenly it's silent, and it's like, oh, Rian Johnson, you crafty son of a bitch.
You magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Yeah, I think sometimes silence or just absence of anything can be so effective, and it's funny how cinema always seems to be a little bit afraid to do that. Whenever it's done, it tends to be very memorable and it's done well.
And let's not forget that in space, no one can hear you explode.
Exactly. And I had not thought about that. It went right in my head. Okay.
Sorry. I just wanted to get the alien reference in there.
I can't always be brilliant all the time. Yeah, no, you talked about Alien, and I started thinking about, hang on, there is sound in space in Alien. They shouldn't have done. And then I just went on a total tangent.
Well, this is where you get into the cinematic language argument of didactic, non-didactic, emotional versus reality. And the fact of the matter is, they had noise in space, because if you're just looking at a screen with a ship flying past and you don't hear anything, which would be real, there's no atmosphere, there's no wind for sound to reverberate off. Yes, there's no sound. If you got close to the object, there would be some vibration, but no, there'd be no sound. And people would go, but where's the whooshy engine noises? I know whooshy engine noises.
That is going to be really interesting when we get to fully electric cars, because I watched a Grand Tour episode, and they raced these electric cars, and it was so bizarre. It was just like, it sounds like how Kit sounds like sometimes in Knight Rider, where it's just this whooshing sound. We go, that's wrong.
You essentially just get the sound of like the tires on the ground kind of thing.
You can hear the engine a little bit.
Vibration. Yeah, that's about it. You don't get engine noise, and people expect engine noise.
Yeah.
People don't want the whine of an electric engine. They want the roar of a gas engine.
Yeah, as much as I am all about, technology and a cleaner future and all that, a V8 though sounds real sexy, right?
The thunder of a huge engine rumbling across, for example, a desert as part of a large armada with a guy in red underpants playing an electric guitar that breathes fire. Like, that scene in Fury Road.
Aroused.
I would say, please stop, I can only get so erect. That scene would have been completely different if they had electric cars.
However, in the apocalypse, solar-powered cars would be a bonus.
Oh, absolutely. True. It wouldn't have the same feel. I imagine that if you were putting together, it's a fleet of electric cars, here come all of these tricked-out Priuses, and the Doof Warrior, instead of playing rock music, he would be playing, like, Enya. whining across the desert. Sail away, sail away, sail away.
Did you see that? I think it's with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Many years ago, he did this commercial.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he was in
the
between
split.
the two.
Yes!
Yeah, and now I'm just imagining Immortan Joe coming at Max doing that.
How intimidating would that be, though? You've got these giant electric big rigs coming in. There's a guy doing a 180-degree split between the two, and it's just like, you know what, guys? We had a good run.
Wearing a mask that looks like a skull.
I think we're done. I think we're finished. Let's pack it up, pack it
The
in.
ultimate power move.
I'm just thinking. I hope there's no cactuses.
But even in Tron and Tron Legacy, they give them it is electric sounding, but it is more of this kind of ghostly whine. It has a bit more presence than a real electric engine would.
Well, the funny thing is, you say about the wine. If we do move to say hydrogen-powered automotives, that doesn't even have the engine whine. It's dead silent. The funny thing is, we have the technology to replicate the sounds. So you can add artificial engine noises if you really, really, really do want to have the vroom vroom engine, and you can choose your vroom vroom engine.
Yeah, you
I
just
would love
replace
that.
the engine with a speaker system, and you're golden.
Yeah,
Exactly.
my theory is that's what Kit's doing, because most of the time silent, and then when he's pissed off, he's like, "Michael, you're covered in oil. Don't sit on my seats, please do not." And he starts revving his engine. I'm like, "That's not a real engine. You're just trying to sound intimidating."
Yeah.
I long for the day when you can choose specifically, okay, this is how I want my car to sound today, because you know that there are going to be people on the internet releasing all of these custom sound kits for your car. Be like, okay, I want my car to sound like a V8 or a V6, or let's see, some guy on the internet made a screaming goat audio file. So
I know the perfect one. See if I can do this in microphone. Never gonna give you up.
instead of engine noise, I want music. Exactly.
I want to rickroll the world.
Yeah. I think it's appropriate to acknowledge that sometimes what you keep is just as important as what you lose. Kind of like how in this movie where Morton says, hey, we're going to lose the arm and do total body prosthesis.
What a segue.
I mean, I think it's really cool in this scene how Tyler has this little humanizing moment where Bob is basically laying down the law, saying, listen, we don't want any unnecessary fleshy bits on our RoboCop. And Tyler has that little aside saying, Jesus, Morton, as if to say, wow, all of us technicians, we are the least bit human, and you are just such a corporate drone with no humanity in you. And I love that little bit of characterization they throw in for her.
Yeah, she gets a little bit in the next minute too, but we can't get to that just yet.
Yeah, I also think it's really interesting the way that they are able to blank out RoboCop's memory, very similar to the droids in Star Wars. They could just delete the memory whenever they want.
They also blanked out Roosevelt's memory. That just doesn't come up again. So.
Up until the point where R2-D2 then comes in and returns it because we really want to undo the hero sacrifice because fuck you, JJ. Anyway.
I feel like all American presidents have cool names? Because, Roosevelt...
I mean, we had a good run. We had a good 44 streak.
Up until 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And then someone took
We enjoyed one name so much we used it twice.
Right.
Yeah.
I also want to call attention to the way that Morton and Johnson are conferring between themselves, saying, what do you think about the arm? And Johnson says, A, he signed a release when he joined the force, which means that every single police officer on the force basically signed away their bodies when they die. And also we get the confirmation that Murphy is officially on paperwork dead, and that OCP can literally do whatever they want. They could turn him into a RoboCop. They could turn him into a decorative piece for
Sarah Jessica Parker's head on a dog.
Yeah, they could put him in a foyer somewhere and cover him in plaster and call him a statue if they want. They could do whatever they want because these officers probably, either without knowing it or under coercion, signed away everything.
Yeah. Yeah, they signed everything away to become a corporate product.
Which is insane to think about.
I got the script here right now, and most of this stuff surrounding these minutes when regarding the technicians, it was mostly improv. Except this actual exchange was in the original script. The whole, we were able to save his left arm, but total body prosthesis. So this was actually one of the very few scripted segments of this entire thing. They pretty much ad-libbed most of it, except a little bit later on, which I'll get to. But what's interesting in the novel, this is so padded out in the novel. This is like classic novelization padding, but it's all done from Murphy's perspective, and it's every moment is like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's this? And it's just all internal monologue, and then like they erase his memory, and then it's like back to it, and then he erases his memory, and then back to it. It's really cool. If you really want to spend $100 on a novelization, I recommend the Robocop novel. But it's pretty cool how I'm not going to go over it because it's literally like 3 pages long in just like these 2 minutes, and it's like barely anything in the script, and it's just great to see how the writer took the point of view of this entire thing and ran with it and did his own thing, and it really helps sell this idea that you're looking through Murphy's eyes as he's going through this stuff, and you're reading what he's thinking. And there's even that brief moment where he's trying to recall his past, but he can't, and he's just like, who am I? Then blank. Really, really riveting.
Just when he starts to think about himself, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why I think this movie is a lot more effective, is just we get a good sense of who this person is, and then he's literally robbed of his humanity, first by the Boudica gang, and then by OCP. And that's more compelling than guy gets blown up by a car and becomes the robot man, but he's still got his memories and motions, and is still a blank piece of toast. Yeah. Speaking of blank piece and toast,
Gaslighting RoboCop.
Alex, how do you feel? I feel fine, Dr. Norton.
This minute begins with Norton saying paralyzed from the waist down and ends with Liz Klein saying, I'm afraid, Mrs. Murphy, time is one thing you don't have. And also your husband, who is, in bits and pieces.
Oh so. This... I I know I mentioned in the other episode that I'm so impressed with Clara in these scenes, and Abby Cornish is sitting there, and you can tell that she is trying to hold herself together in and she is surrounded by doctors and experts and OCP executives,
stooges.
Just people smiling at her in false sympathy, and she's just trying to make the best decision for her husband, her child, her family in general, and all these people are so freaking cold. Like, Dr. Norton is listing off this laundry list of absolutely horrible things that you would not want to hear anything about. Like, he mentions, like, complete paralyzation, living blind in one eye, mostly deaf. Like, a vegetable is the tip of the iceberg. And then you've got Dr. Allen coming in on the side. He's like, hey, you know what? This guy, he knows his stuff. They're top notch. And like, I can only imagine what she's going through. And it's so much more interesting than anything I've seen from Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, I think this minute is actually one of the strongest minutes. I really felt I felt something for this character, and it kind of feels like she's this little kid who's been brought into the principal's office, and just everything is so overwhelming and terrifying and out of her control, and they're expecting her to make this decision right then and there, and this is, or could have been, the emotional core of the film. And you're really making me wish that it had been Clara's journey, because there is something to be told here.
Yeah, like,
this is a reoccurring issue we've had with this film, is like, there's just so many avenues this movie could have gone and would have been stronger, or at least had a more emotive connection, but they just kept taking it back to what the fuck ever they ended up making.
Yeah.
Just keeping it bland as possible.
When you think of the 1987 movie, as soon as Murphy dies, his wife and son effectively disappear from the movie. They don't even have names. They are just listed as Murphy's wife, Murphy's son. Here in the remake, at least they get names.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
For what it's worth.
But then the lack of seeing Murphy's transition into RoboCop also helps to work with this narrative of it's Clara's journey, as I mentioned in the last minute. Just there's this stuff built in.
We are going to get in, once we hit minute 27, a bit of what Alex is going through. But here, it's another example of us being pulled away from Murphy's experience and being isolated from it and alienated almost. Like, we are being denied that connection that we get in the 87 original.
It's interesting because in this minute, at least especially cinematically, Norton is being shot. He's coming across as like the sympathetic character. He's like, yes, Mrs. Murphy, this is like, what I believe to be the best thing for you. You also kind of know that Norton's not entirely on the up and up just from the previous stuff, but it's funny how cinematically, like, we're getting this, all the emotive connectivity in this minute is to the scientists and less with the... I do agree, though. Abby Cornish is acting her ass off in this, and it's ultimately for nothing, which I think is the actual crime here, because we did kind of complain... Okay, we didn't really complain. We kind of noted how bland this family is in the previous minutes. But yeah, this shows you just how much these actors are really putting in. And it's the people behind the scenes. It's the writers, it's the directors, it's the editors, the producers who are just really kind of ruining this.
Has anybody ventured forth the idea that Joel Kinnaman is an energy vampire that sucks the enthusiasm out of anything he's in?
He kind of does, though, don't he? I mean, I love Altered Carbon, and I think he's great in that role, but that role is basically Harrison Ford in Blade Runner, where that's a very low energy character who's just kind of surly, and it doesn't require a lot of energy, so yeah.
I just keep calling him Rick Flag. I don't call him Alex Murphy, I call him Rick Flag, because it's just literally the same character.
Yeah.
Angry, pissed off guy. You don't even get a feel for like, oh, this guy's in a relationship. Is he, though?
I've notes about that, but that has to wait till the next minute.
We get told he has a girlfriend in Suicide Squad. Does he, though?
Yeah, but she's a bit of a witch.
So my note for this minute is, I'm not dead. I feel fine. I feel happy.
I know that the burned portion of his body isn't necessarily mentioned until the next minute, but it does also do that whole Will Ferrell thing from Austin Powers. I'm only mostly burned. I just need some help.
I'm badly burned.
Oh, but how gruesome is the depiction of Murphy's injuries up on the screen? Like, Clara's sitting there, traumatized, and she has to stare at her husband's mutilated body as if it's a pie chart.
He looks like Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Technically, he's more complete than Anakin. Because he at least has an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's half an Anakin.
Thank goodness they didn't get Ewan McGregor in this movie to,
It's over, Alex. I've got the higher ground.
Honestly, though, jokes aside, I could absolutely see Ewan in the role of Dr. Norton.
Yeah, I could see that.
Good work.
I just can't believe they changed Bob Morton into Dr. Norton.
I know, it's so confusing.
Like, God damn it. It's freaking remake. I swear.
Yeah, this is the problem with this media, because they are so focused on trying to have a message of...
You were so focused on whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think of whether or not you should.
Oh, they're so fixated on going, you know Apple, that company, and you know Steve Jobs, you know how Apple and Steve Jobs are evil, and we're gonna keep telling you about how Apple and Steve Jobs.
Oh no,
are
hang
evil.
on, but drones are bad. Drones are bad, and also news media corporations bad, and war in Afghanistan. Is that doing anything for you?
If that actually been the focus of this movie without the robot cop, it could have been better.
They were throwing everything at the wall to see what would stick, and then they kept all of that stuff. They didn't filter through that. They used all of it.
It's 20 minutes longer than the original and has far less competent storytelling.
Oh yeah. Shall we wrap up because I got things to say about the next minute, but I can't say it yet.
I think we really want to get to the next minute.
Yeah. I just want to wrap up this episode saying that it would have been incredibly satisfying if at any point in this movie, and like I said, haven't seen it, so I don't know if this actually happens, but if Dr. Norton had said, I need more scientists, bring in everyone, and one of his assistants would have been like, everyone? And he could have yelled, everyone!
Yes! No, that's too much energy for this movie. No one raises their voice.
That would have elevated this movie.
Absolutely.
Spoilers, that doesn't happen.
Shame.
No.
Shame.
No, that's cool thing is now you just don't have to watch the rest of this movie.
There we go. I don't have to be disappointed.
I like your version better, Rick, honestly. Just stick to your version.
So we've got the sitcom version, we've got the drama version, we've got the Norton screaming everybody version, and they're all better.
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch it. It's like Rick and Morty, where they have that the multiverse channels, and they can watch different shows from different dimensions. Yeah, I want to watch every dimensional version of RoboCop, the remake.
Because I think we exist in the worst timeline for this movie.
Probably. I can't see it being any worse unless the entire cast was goats. But even then, I'd kind of watch the goat version, right?
But here's where I'm going with that is because if it was worse, it might actually be interesting because it's worse.
Oh, can I get the version of this movie where Michael Keaton as Raymond Sellers, he picks up a poker next to a fireplace and he smashes something. He says, "You want to get robots? Come on, let's get robots."
Yes.
Come on, Niall. Where were you with this joke?
Yeah, come on. Why did that bit of guy not?
Niall.
On that bombshell, where can we find you, Rick?
All right, if people want to hear more of me, they can go to madmaxminute.com or just search for Mad Max Minute on their podcatcher of choice. There are all sorts of things to listen to if you are into Mad Max movies specifically. We have done each of them 1 minute at a time, so you can find us on there. You can find us on social media by just searching for Mad Max Minute, and currently we're releasing new episodes every Tuesday covering Waterworld H2O minutes at a time.
And you know where to find me, Travian Designs, and you know I'm doing all the pods, every pod, all of them, everyone. And do I have anything? I always feel like I'm not promoting. Oh yeah, my YouTube channel, I don't promote that enough. That's just under my name. Instagram also under my name, but it's Courtney Colson Prime because I'm the Prime Courtney. All the other Courtney Colsons, liars.
Inferior.
Yeah.
Mediocre.
Yeah, on the Instagram you can see my majestic goth knight cosplay. I'm a grown-ass woman. I am 29 years old. It was a Saturday night. What am I doing? I'm wearing a white suit jacket and with Sharpie on paper, making a little paper mustache for myself.
So you put that much Sharpie underneath your nose, you think any costume you wear is going to look great.
Yeah, I had a great time.
It might be the fumes talking, but I think I look pretty good.
Maybe.
you take photos and all in this fucking Dutch angle and like half the subject is like not in shot, or it's just blurry. Like, why did the fuck did I upload this to Instagram? And why the hell am I getting likes?
Honestly, better cinematography than Knight Rider. Just putting it out there.
What's the old adage about Instagram? You can take your photos drunk, but you better add the filters sober.
Write drunk, edit sober.
Exactly.
Speaking of writing drunk, I'm sober. And you can find me on Fandom Crossing. I have YouTube. I also do the Kung Pao End to the Minute. I think I just got an electric shock off my chair. That's weird.
It doesn't like you.
But more importantly, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Simplecast, and a YouTube channel. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the usual robo algorithm things that the social media, you know, we're on Facebook and Instagram, all that stuff. And once again, thank you, Rick. And until next time,
glory be to the Robocock. That was a song we had to sing at school, but also not with those lyrics. I just changed them.
I was really hoping the lyrics were still going to be Robocock.